Welcome back, everybody. It's Sarcasm Speaks. Jared and Bob here. And boy, do I have a fucking story to kick this off, huh? So no one knows this, but I had texted you, maybe almost a half hour ago at this point, and was like, hey, I'm going to be running a couple minutes behind. I got pulled into playing in a poker tournament, and it's taken a little bit longer than I thought. Well, here's the fucking rundown. So first of all, shout out to Nick, right? Friend of the show, invited me to. It's actually Amy's cousin. It's where the wedding was. So that the house where the wedding was, her cousin that lives next door, it was at his house. So we go down. There's 15 people. Right. They did tournament style, right? 2 tables. I think one table had 8 people, one table had 7 people, whatever it is. Just go. I think you could buy back for the first whatever, maybe hour and a half. Who knows? Doesn't matter. We were supposed to start at 2. We didn't actually start probably until like 2:45 because people were late getting there. So I go in. It's $25. I'm like, sure, yeah, I'll go. It's fucking $25. I don't really give a shit. So we go, we start playing, and it's fine. We're just playing poker, right? Hanging out, all this shit, whatever. And then it gets to the time where it's like, all right, well, we're kind of getting close. Like I was hoping to be done by like 5, right? So I could come back, I can eat dinner, I could shower, I could do what I need to do before we record. And didn't happen. In fact, I made it all the way down to the last 3. I could not fucking lose. All I wanted to do was lose, and I couldn't do it. So because of that, I became the biggest fucking asshole at the party. Because so these guys, and I don't know how close Nick is with any of these, but sorry, I guess if I offend you, I would imagine Nick's probably not going to get offended anyway. But like, there's some people here that like think they're like fucking semi-pro poker players. Listen, man, like we're in a basement in Seekonk playing poker at a couple fucking like random tables. Like you're not that fucking good. Right? Like they're like, oh, this and that is fuck off. You fuck off. You're not that good. You might be good. Like you might be fine, better than average. You play a lot. Cool. But like fuck off with your bullshit about rules of poker and all this shit. Like, oh, I can't believe. So it's just it was ridiculous. And I bit my tongue the whole time, kept my mouth shut, didn't say anything. People were like talking shit. I'm like, I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm just trying to leave. I'm not trying to fucking win every single hand. So to back up, when we still had the 2 separate tables, the first table we were playing, I think we might have had, it doesn't matter, whatever number we had at the table. People start losing, a couple people buy back in, then we get through the elimination, like the buyback period, and then people start getting knocked off the table. I think I had knocked out maybe 1 person, and then we get down to like 5 people at our table, or 5 or 4, whatever. And there was this one guy, seemingly a nice guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I mean, he kept talking shit, but whatever. Like I said, I just kept my mouth shut. So there was one of the hands where we're playing, right? And I think I got dealt like 5-7, right? Like 5-7 offsuit. And I just went in, right? It's 5-7. They're close, whatever. Again, I'm not a fucking poker shark here, but the statistical probability there is there is a somewhat probability that like you might draw some decent cards with a 5 and a 7. You only need a 6,
6, 8, 9,
a 6, 8, 9, or a 6, 8, 4 or
4,
4
6, 9.
3. Like there's a lot of different, like the probability, like, and that's how I look at things. It's a statistical probability, right? Like if I have a 5 and a 7, I'm going to play that hand because again, statistically, like all I need is a 6, an 8, a 9, a 4, a 3. You know, like the odds are there. So I go in and we get the flop, and there's a 6 in the flop, and I go, well, okay, like I'm alive, right? Like there's a chance, and so this other guy, he's betting whatever. I forget what, I think the turn card might have been an 8. It was either an 8 or a 9, because I remember being like, I'm not out of it. Like my statistically, I have a lot lower chance of winning, but like I'm not out of it. So I'm like, fuck it, whatever. So that guy goes all in, and I had more chips so I could cover him. So I was like, yeah, sure, fuck it, whatever. And at this point, it was probably like 5:00, 5:30. So I'm like, I don't care. Like if I end up becoming the short stack after this, whatever, I'm ready. It's again, $25. I'll just fucking leave. I really don't give a shit. So then on the river, what falls is a 7. So we flip over. I have a pair of 7s and he didn't have anything. And I beat him. And he's like, you fucking went in. Like you went in with a 5 and a 7. He's like bitching about a 5 and a 7. I'm like, whatever, man. Like, again, just keep my mouth shut. Like 5-7 offsuit. All right, man. Like maybe I'm not like privy to the poker etiquette, but mathematical probability tells me that that's not a bad hand. Like just because the numbers are low, you want me to fold? Like fuck off. That's how this shit works. So I beat him. I knock him out. Again, he's talking shit, whatever. We get knocked down to like 3 people at the table or whatever. So then we combine to 1 table. And then just playing, right? Like just playing normal. And then I keep looking at the clock and I'm like, all right, it's 5:45, whatever. Like one other guy gets knocked off the table. So I think someone else gets knocked out. We might be down to like 5 total at this point. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm all set. I'm done. Like I'm just, I forget what I had. I wasn't the short stack, but I didn't have the most chips, so there was one hand. I think it was a 3 and a 5 or something. I got 3-5 dealt to me. Again, fuck right off with your poker etiquette. There are 2 numbers that are low. Again, statistically, I need a 4, a 6, a 7, a 2, an ace. Like there's cards. It's the same. It's probably the same mathematical probability as my last situation, right? But at this point too, also, I don't give a fuck. So I had 3-5 offsuit, and I'm playing the hand, and someone else goes all in. So then that puts me with like not a lot of chips left because I just call and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. And I honestly forget what the cards were as they came down, but I ended up winning with a pair of 5s. And then everyone was like, what the fuck? Like, again, like everyone's got a fucking opinion. Everyone's got something to say. 3-5, all this. To which so again, like I said, I didn't say shit, but I turned around and I wanted to say, if it's such a fucking problem, how come no one else at the table could beat a pair of 5s?
Well, that's the that's what I think that's kind of where it stems. Because the other thing too is like hand probability in poker requires you to know what everything else is.
Right.
So like when you watch poker, if you watch poker anymore, I used to watch when I was a kid. your probability of winning the hand hinged on what the other people had.
Right.
So you truly don't know what your probability of winning is.
Right.
But never mind, it's a basement game. You don't want to be there, so you're playing recklessly. It's like,
yeah,
if the hand's so bad, like play the hand out with better car. I don't know. Like
that's what I mean. Like people are like, oh, well, fucking, I would have won that. So should have fucking stayed in then. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I would have had a better hand. You chose to fold.
Yeah, anyone
I went all in. I was the sucker that went all in to someone who had more chips than me with a hand that ended up winning on a pair of fives. Like, again, you can blow me.
Yeah,
if you're gonna get upset of me winning with a pair of fives, beat my fucking hand then. You can't beat a pair of fives.
If you fold, you don't get an opinion.
Exactly.
Because you didn't call. Now, do we want to talk about like optimal poker strategy? Yeah, is going in on 3-5? Is that with nothing yet? Is that the play? Probably not, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Never mind. You know, like the best player doesn't always win, right?
Right.
Because you still need the cards to come.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
people who fold have an opinion.
Yeah, and it's just so we get down to so we get, again, everyone has a fucking opinion and everyone's chirping. Everyone, people are like, oh, fucking 3-5, whatever. All right. Hey, like I said, beat the hand. You can't beat a pair of fives.
Never mind. It's like if you're gonna fold every time that you like don't have a decent hand, like I'm just gonna get a read off you.
Yeah, and also like I wasn't playing any of that shit. Like any of that, like look at people, read them. I didn't give a fuck.
No, sorry, reading like.
Right, no, and I know that's part of the game, right? Is that people try and get the read on people, and I understand what you're saying. I know what I said was different, but I do understand what you're saying. But like I'm saying, like me tonight, like I didn't give a fuck about any of that. Like I didn't watch other people. I didn't look for people's trends on how they were doing. And there was, so the one guy that I knocked out with the 5-7 was like, when he went all in and I called, he was like, he made a comment to me like, I think every time I've bet against you, you've called me tonight. And I was like, I looked at him and I was like, sorry, man. Like, I honestly haven't been paying attention to that. Like, I don't know what you want. Like, are you taking it as a fucking insult? Because I literally have paid 0 seconds of attention to, oh yeah, every time this guy bets, I'm not playing these stupid fucking mind games, right? I'm not Chris Moneymaker at the fucking poker table of World Series of Poker. Again, we're in a basement in Seekonk. Like, I'm not here trying to play mind games with people. And maybe that's what pissed people off, because they were trying to like throw me a fake read or something. And I wasn't like, I don't know. I have no fucking idea what it was. All I knew was that I didn't want to be there anymore. And I was trying to go out so I could come back here and eat dinner. I still haven't eaten anything. I haven't eaten anything since fucking 1:00 today. It's 7:30. So I'm pretty fucking hungry. All I want to do is get home, eat, and then record. Right now I have to do all the shit after we record. And it's like, oh, whatever. Woe is me. I'll be fine. I'm bitching because this is my fucking podcast and I can bitch if I want to. I know it's not a big deal that I have to eat after this and take a shower. I get it. But my mindset at that time was, I got to fucking leave. And I couldn't leave because I kept winning. And then, so by the end of it, I was down to the last 3. So at that point, I probably had the second most chips. So Amy's cousin Jared was there. He was at the wedding. I don't know if you met him, but he was there. I mean, yeah, at least I've seen him before. So it was me, her cousin Jared, and then some random guy that I've never met before in my life. And we're sitting there, and I look at Nick, because Nick has taken over as the dealer at this point, and I'm like, Nick, I gotta fucking go. Like I gotta record at 7. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. And at this point, again, like the other thing too, is people were getting like so bent out of shape about now let me take a pause here, because I don't want to sound like a fucking pompous prick. But number one, it's $25, right, to buy in. I've spent more money doing dumber shit 1,000,000 times in my life. I don't give a fuck about $25. Again, I'm not trying to sound like a pompous prick, but like if I was driving down the street and my window was open and $25 flew out the window by accident, whatever. Yeah, that sucks, right? But like, I'm not gonna like stop the car and pull over and try and get my $25 back. Like, I don't care. It's $25. It's gone. And then like the win. So there was what, $450 left. So I think it was like 300, 150 were the payouts. And I'm like, again, I don't really give a shit. Like whatever. Like like I said, I was fine losing $25. So I don't give a shit how much money I walk away with. So we get to the last three. Again, it's me, Amy and Nick's cousin, and then some random guy. So I say that to Nick, and Nick's like, well, what about just chopping the pot? So I'm like, yes, fine. That's totally fine with me. I don't care. And then their cousin was trying to also leave. This is a funny story too, because they started playing dice in the other room. They started playing CeeLo, and their cousin just really wanted to go play dice. He was like, I don't want to play this anymore. Like, I want to go play dice. So he did the same shit. He was going all in and he kept winning and he couldn't lose. So he had the most money. I had the second amount. And then the third guy had the short stack. So he has the most chips and he doesn't want to play anymore. I have the second most. I gotta fucking leave. The third guy's like, yeah, whatever. So we talk about a chop, right? Just splitting the pot, be 150 a piece. Sure, fine. I don't give a fuck. And then I think their cousin was like, well, I want more because I have the most chips, which again is fair, right? Like, I understand where he's coming from and he doesn't have to leave. He just doesn't want to play. And the other guy, the third guy, says no. And I go, are you fucking kidding me? And I literally stood up and I looked at their cousin. I go, and I said it to Nick, and I go, you can give him 25 from me. I'll take 25 less to give to him. I'm fucking leaving. And then he did. He gave me $125. Again, I don't give a shit, right? So I walked away with $125. Whoop-de fucking do, right? Oh, it's life-changing, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe this makes me sound like a huge fucking piece of shit, like just an asshole, right? Like, oh, it's money. But like, it's money that I didn't have before. And the only skin I had in the game was $25 that I literally don't give a shit about. So like, cool. Yeah, you lost out on maybe $300 if you kept playing, but like, I didn't have that money anyway. You know, like, so like I said, everyone had some fucking shit to say. Needless to say, I probably won't ever be going back there. So thank you for the invite, Nick. I think they said they were going to do it like once a month, and I'm good. If that's how it's going to be, I think I'm a one and done.
Well, even when we played in Mansfield, you weren't really like into it for the long haul. Like even just playing like single games.
Yeah.
Like you reach your expiration pretty quick.
Yeah, it gets boring after a while.
So I understand where they come from, but they're talking about a basement game.
Right.
Like if you want people with tells and reads and logic and maybe you read a poker book and you can figure out like how to like evaluate how someone's playing. Like that's cool. You need all poker players.
Right.
You can't have casuals and expect those rules to show up because they don't. And like that's the difference where it's like especially the comment of, oh, I feel like you've called me every time, I've raised you. And it's like, bro, I don't have any system to what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Like you expect me to play with a strategy and I don't have one.
Yes, it was quite literally is chaos.
It's
like my strategy is chaos. I don't have one.
Yeah, there is, and that for people that are or think they're serious about poker, that fucking drives them crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if I were you, I just wouldn't play because it's not the right scene or setting for you.
Yeah, I'm good.
Because like I said, even like pandemic times, we'd play in Mansfield and like your expiration was like 40 minutes. So the fact that you even made it as far as you did and fucking didn't crawl out of your skin, I'm actually like impressed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun, right? Like poker, I look at poker like it's fun to play for a little bit, but like you said, like once you get like over an hour, like, all right, man, we do something else. Like, I don't know, literally anything. Well, like their cousin Jared was the same way because all he wanted to do was go play dice. He was like, I'm done. He was this, maybe it's the name, maybe that you just have a short attention span, but it's like, all right, cool. Like it was fun, but I was trying to lose. Like I even tried. Like I went up to the guy who was talking shit as I was leaving, and I was like, "Hey, listen, man. Like I'm sorry. Like I'm not trying to fucking be a dick about anything. I didn't think I was gonna fucking make it that far." And he was like, oh. So then obviously when I say something, he was like, "Oh no, 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 it's okay, man. Like it's fine. I get it. I get it. It's like, it's just, that's the game of poker, right? Like everyone's able to play how they want to play, and whether or not I like it or whoever else likes it, it's just how it is." As I'm walking up the stairs leaving, I'm like, "That's your fucking response." So the entire time it was a fucking problem. And then I go over to shake your hand and apologize as I leave, and it's not a problem anymore. I'm like,
Yeah, this is like
okay.
I bet if you play enough poker, you'll find like people are just fucking insufferable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, that's the hard part though. Like, because I've heard like some of the guys at the gym have played and they play like, and they play seriously. So like they're not playing a basement game for 25 to win 300. It might be like a $200 buy-in to win, I don't know, 5K. Like I'm just making numbers up, right?
Right.
And like you're gonna like the expectation is you are going to play until 2, 3, 4 a.m.
Right.
Like buckle up. And like they'll say like the same stuff. It's like, oh yeah, like it's like you're playing they're calling all these like hands and all these pots, whatever. And I'm like, bro, not everyone is a professional.
Right.
Back in the day, it used to be 10K to be in the World Series of Poker. Go play there.
Right.
Like if you want everyone to be a fucking pro, go where the pros are. Don't go to fucking Foxwoods.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's that. That's how I spent my last 5 hours. So then like I'm leaving, right? And I had texted you. I'm like, fuck, well, I mean, you've been there. It's where the wedding was. It's literally 15 minutes away from here. But I'm like fucking doing like 55 down Route 1 just to be like, I just want to get home. And I was hoping to get home with enough time to maybe like shove a dinner roll in my mouth or something. But I mean, I did. I ate like real quick, but um, I had some Girl Scout cookies, which also shout out to Nick for peddling Girl Scout cookies. But I guess technically it's Nick's daughter, but either way, I'll give him two shout outs. So yeah, here we are. And here I am with $125 and people pissed off at me think I'm an asshole until I try and apologize for it. And then I'm not an asshole.
Well, I mean, ultimately, you are still an asshole.
Well, yes, correct. I 1000% am an asshole.
Now, whether they know that or not.
What made me the most mad was that I didn't even get to watch the end of the fucking golf tournament. Like, again, my whole plan was like, I'll probably be wrapped up by like 5:30 at the latest. But
that was the mistake.
No.
Those games take a long time.
I missed the whole end of the fucking golf tournament. Which again, I think I'm probably the most pissed about. I mean, they had it on the TV, but like I can't see it, or I'm not really paying attention, right? So what can you do?
Well, to summarize, Rom hit a bomb.
And then I saw he was playing like shit, at least throughout the day. And then did Homa blow it at the end?
Nope. Rom made like a 50-footer. And on the very next hole, I think it was maybe it wasn't the very next hole, but if it wasn't the next hole, it was the hole after. It was a par 3, and he hit it to like fucking 4 feet and hit the putt
Oh shit.
because they were tied when he made the bomb.
Okay. Yeah, because
And
at one point I looked over and Homa had the lead.
Yeah, that was fairly early on. They were probably tied. I don't know when. They were tied at one point. I think he hit that long putt on maybe 13 or 14.
Okay.
No, Homa almost hold a chip on 18, which would have forced Rahm to not 3-putt.
Yeah. So Rahm ultimately ended up winning.
Yep. He did.
So he's won what, 3 of his last 8 starts or something like that?
What, PGA Tour or worldwide?
I
Because worldwide is probably 5.
Yeah.
Has he won 3 times this PGA Tour season?
Yeah, I thought he won twice already.
I don't even know. He won one of the Hawaii events, right?
Yeah, and then he just won.
Oh, he won the American Express.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got 3 wins by February 19th.
Yeah.
I guess he's almost won $10 million.
Wow.
Yes, we won the TOC, the American Express, and now the Genesis.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's really fucking good at golf.
Well, as he fucking should be. Like, if he's gonna be fucking 6-1 every time he tees it up, like he should be fucking good.
Yeah. Yeah, which is kind of nuts, right? I mean, last year was weird because John Rahm was always the favorite in every event. And did he win it all last year?
He only won in Mexico.
Yeah, I was gonna say I almost said he didn't win at all, but I guess he won once. And I feel like every tournament last year he was the favorite at like 6-1, 7-1.
It's fucking crazy. And
Yeah.
like if Rory played, then they would both be 8-1 or something.
Right. And it's like the way things were last year, it's like you haven't really seen too much of that. Probably, I would imagine. I wasn't sports betting as much in 2015, but probably in 2015 when Spieth was on his tear.
Yeah, but
it's probably the last time.
Well, 2015, Jason Day was also winning every.
Oh, that's true.
Spieth were winning every event.
That's true too. Yeah.
So you probably got some level of parity, but
I mean, nothing's ever going to compare to Tiger being like a 2-1 favorite, or I'm sorry, a 2 to like at 2-1 odds to win a tournament back in like the early 2000s. I would imagine some of them he was probably minus odds.
They used to offer odds excluding him.
Yeah.
So it would be like Ernie Els would be like 9-1 to finish second.
Yeah. Like, I mean, again, I wasn't sports betting in 2002.
I'll say I wasn't either,
but I would imagine there were probably some tournaments where he was minus odds. And people probably still took him and then won. You know, you win money. Even if he's minus 120, you imagine, like, and you still win. You know he's going to win. That had to have been the weirdest time in sports betting, in golf in particular, but like just sports betting in general, in that early 2000s swing, that late 90s, early 2000s swing. If, say, Tiger was minus 120 to win the tournament in pre-tournament odds, and you were just like, fuck it, I'll throw $400 on him to win, and you actually won. Like, you knew he was going to win. It just, I don't know.
I mean, it's just it's the same bet as a 3-point favorite in the NFL. So
right.
3-point favorite's usually 115, but sometimes it's 120.
Yeah. It's just kind of hard for me to wrap my head around. Like
because I look at it like going into this week, it's like, oh, I'm 6-1. Let's just stay away from that.
Exactly.
But I think, like, even credit to Ian Mack, I think last year he took Rahm in Mexico at like 6-1. And the idea was he simply is the best player here. He goes like odds, whatever. It's like,
Right.
yeah, okay. Sometimes 6-1 is the right number.
Right. Right. Yeah, it makes sense. So while we're on golf, we got Tiger back. I mean, we were talking a little shit on Twitter. If you follow us on Twitter, it's sarcasm_speaks. You would see you and I were kind of going back and forth a little bit about it. I would say pleasantly surprised. Today's round was a letdown, but I think today's round was what I expected yesterday. And well, first of all, I guess if you would ask me on Tuesday of last week, I would have told you he's not making the cut. In fact, his odds at a lot of places, if you could find it, because my bookie didn't carry it, but from what I heard,
couldn't see that Barstool either.
Places that did have him to miss the cut had it listed at -200. So no one thought he was going to make the cut. So he comes in Thursday and shoots a 69. And then Friday, he shot a 74 to be +1 on the tournament.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Where everyone's like, oh, he's probably going to miss the cut. Well, Friday was a tough fucking day at the course because it was cold and it was windy. And enough people backed up and the cut line moved back to +1. It was at even, but by the end of the day, it moved back to +1. So wouldn't you know, fucking Eldrick ended up making the cut. And then people go nuts, right? They're like, Tiger's playing in the weekend. And I think you and I were talking, we were talking shit about Tiger. We were also talking shit about Rory afterwards. But, we come out, Tiger's playing on Saturday. I watched most of his round. I was out running errands in the morning. But I got back probably around like 11:30-ish. So I had enough time to actually watch him almost his entire round yesterday. And he played pretty well. Played pretty fucking well yesterday too. Everyone was like, oh, yeah, cool, you made the cut. Now he's going to back up. He's going to do whatever. What did he shoot? Yeah, did he shoot a 67 yesterday?
Sounds right.
So motherfucker shoots a 67 yesterday. And now me personally, I still was on because, we can't be too optimistic on this show. I still had the pessimistic look, the outlook of, he can't, it's Sunday, it's the fourth day walking in a row. Don't expect anything wild, at best. I think when I had texted you the other day, was that a text? I think I could probably find it quickly. Yeah, so we were talking about him missing the cut. Where is this? Yeah, so I had said to you, oh, he'll make the cut and then shoot 75-70 on the weekend. Well, he shot a 67. And then I don't know what he shot today, but I think it was a big number.
I think he shot like 3 over.
Yeah, so another 74. I thought it was 75-ish, but it's close. So he kind of fell apart today. But because he shot the 67 yesterday, that's enough for the common man who's not broken down with pessimism to be like, oh my God, Tiger, what if he makes a run on Sunday? I mean, he was far enough out where like nothing major was actually going to happen, but like he could have potentially kicked around a top 10 finish, like, for a tied, he wasn't going to get an outright top 10, but he went into Sunday, I think in 25th, 23rd, 25th, something like tied for 23rd, something along those lines. And then obviously, like I said, spoiler alert, he fucking fell apart. But Tiger's back.
So we'll see. I fell asleep, I guess. He may have had a presser saying he's only going to play the majors.
Yeah. There were rumors kicking around, or there were rumors that he was kicking around playing at Sawgrass. He might play the players, but most likely not. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, even if he does, It's 3 weeks away, 2 weeks away, right? Where the next week they're somewhere. The next week's the Honda, then it's the Arnold Palmer, and then it's the Players. So it's 3 weeks away.
Okay. So I pulled the quote. He said, I don't know. My goal each and every year here going forward is to play in all the majors. I'm not going to play too much more than that. My body, my leg, my back won't allow me to play much more than that anymore. That was my goal last year. I was able to play 3 of the 4. This year, I can hopefully play all 4. That's going to be my schedule going forward because of the limitations I have. I don't see him playing the API. I don't see him playing the Memorial. I don't see him playing the Players. I mean, if his body can't handle it, his body can't handle it. But if he's not playing these other rounds, then he at a major is going to be lightning in a bottle, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, you never know at Augusta, right? I mean, he won in 2019.
Have you seen how good Jon Rahm is playing right now?
Oh, no, I know. I understand. But like you said, lightning in a bottle. If it were going to happen anywhere, it would happen at Augusta. So, I mean, I think I'm mostly excited just at the prospect that he's back and that he made the cut. He also, I think this potentially adds a little bit more weight that he made the cut at a course that historically he sucks at. His best finish, he's played there, 15 times, I think they said on the broadcast. His best finish was second place in 1998. So all of those crazy Tiger stats that we've talked about all the time, the best he's ever finished at Riviera was second place 25 years ago.
It's fucking horrible.
That's fucking wild. But he came in here and for all intents and purposes played pretty fucking well. I don't know where he actually finished.
40th, 45th.
Yeah. So
I got it because I have his strokes gain data too.
How did he do?
Tied 45th. He lost strokes putting around the green and driving. He gained strokes with his approach play, as you would expect.
Yeah. I mean, at one point for a very, very long time was the greatest iron player in the game, potentially ever. So, even if it falls off a little bit, he's still one of the best iron players in the game.
We'll see. Because he gained like half a stroke for the tournament. Rahm gained 2.85. Thagala 1.79. Gary Woodland 2.38. Luke List 2.73. I don't know. Overall, I mean, he made the cut, but it wasn't a pretty performance. So now what do you expect? I don't know. That just depends.
Yeah, I mean, he exceeded my expectations for him.
Yeah, because I didn't think he would make the cut because he sucks at fucking Riv.
Right. And that's what I mean when I said I think it holds a little bit more weight that he did make the cut and that he did play decent. I mean, it all, like you said, it all depends on what your expectations
He tied with
are.
Tom Kim. So, like, if you want to know, like, how he actually did, he tied with Tom Kim, and everyone loves him. So,
yeah,
take it for what it is. I don't know how much stock you want to put into it. I think it sucks. Like, I don't think he's not going to compete at Augusta this year. He's just not fucking good enough right now. And he's not going to have a chance to get any better. His body doesn't let him.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, we will. Because, again, lightning in a bottle. That's the kicker.
Yeah.
And if anyone's going to catch it, why not him?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we are 7 weeks away from the Masters. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't feel strongly that playing practice rounds at Medalist are the same as competitive PGA Tour rounds.
No, they're certainly not.
So that's my major
Yeah.
concern. And the body's not there. So like the body's not allowing him to play. So it's like, fuck, man. Like I'm just not overly optimistic that he can go toe to toe with Rom, Roars, Thomas. Like I think these guys are just fucking ass kickers right now. Well, maybe not Thomas, but
Yeah, he's wildly inconsistent, I would say. Like when he's on, he's one of the best players in the world. And when he's off, he's very mediocre.
yeah, I don't know how he even did this week.
Finished T20. He was 5 under on the tournament. So he was one of those guys that fell back on Friday. He went 68, 73, 69, 69. So speaking of all that, have you watched since we're on golf, have you watched Full Swing?
I have.
Have you finished it?
I have.
So I'm only halfway through. So I just finished episode 4 today.
Who was that?
Joel Damon.
Okay.
So I'm
so
through.
who is I sorry. So who have you seen? You've seen JT
and Spieth.
JT and Spieth, Koepka.
Yep. Koepka and Scotty were the second one, I think. Poulter was the third.
Yeah. Okay. And then Damon and DJ? No,
just Damon.
Who's with Joel Damon? No one?
I think it was just Joel Damon.
Oh. All right.
So what did you think? I mean, you finished it. I mean, and so I've seen people tweet about it. And I've seen some people say, I thought it was going to be different. Some people really like it. Some people don't like it. Overall, did you like it?
I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't knowing what I was going to get out of it, because I know some people were talking about the F1 series, which I did not see, and how the F1 series kind of like inspired people to be fans of the sport. That ain't happening. I'll fucking tell you that much.
Yeah.
No one's going to watch this series and be like, you know what? Got to learn about golf now. Not a fucking chance. I thought it was a nice little behind the scenes thing. I thought it was good to see the players like actually show something of a personality, not seeing them just on a PGA Tour broadcast or in a commercial or something. Like that stuff was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it really helped the game at all. I don't think it did anything.
Yeah.
I don't see why someone who doesn't watch golf would give a fuck. Like that's what I was like ultimately trying to figure out.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm only 4 episodes through the 8 of them. But same. So I've been watching them with Amy because Amy likes golf. She'll watch every now and then, but she's a casual golf fan, right? Like I'll watch golf on a Thursday, like I'll watch the Thursday round, and she could care less, right? Like if I'm watching the Saturday round and Rory's not on TV, like she'll just be on her phone not paying attention, which is fine, right? Like
let me know when someone wins.
Yeah, exactly. She's a cat. Like she'll watch Sundays, right? Because Sunday is the day when the guy wins. But so I really enjoy it. I don't know how much she enjoys it, and I think that would be a good barometer. I think she would be a good like litmus test of someone that's not like an all-in golf fan like I am. What do they think about it? So it's interesting. She's actually said she doesn't want to watch the next episode because she hates Matt Fitzpatrick. And the next episode is Matt Fitzpatrick and DJ. So I might be watching that one by myself, but whatever. So I think it's cool to see the behind the scenes stuff, and like you said, see that there's more than just the press conferences. Some of the stuff was interesting. So it gave me a little bit more perspective, I think, on some of these guys. But again, I'm coming at it from someone who is basically all in on golf, right? Like I play it, I watch it all the time, I love it. Like it's a great sport. To see some of the guys like Brooks Koepka and Ian Poulter talk about live, and Koepka in particular, like he literally sat at a table with one of his buddies and had his head on the table and goes, I don't know if I can compete with these guys anymore. Like 4 years ago, he was the best golfer in the entire fucking world for like a 2.5 year stretch. And now he's got his fucking head on the table, basically crying, saying he doesn't know if he can compete anymore. Like that blew my mind. And I think it was really interesting. And after seeing his episode, it's kind of like well, no shit, he took the money and went to live. Right. Cause like mentally, he wasn't in a place where, right. So just not to make it like a big psychological thing, but put yourself in that situation, right? You get a 2.5 year stretch where you win 4 majors, you're on top of the world, you're the best golfer in the whole fucking world. And then 4 years later, you can't hang anymore, right? Basically, it's what it is. He can't hang anymore. And someone's going to come to you and offer you $75 million. You would be stupid to say no. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. And I'll spoiler alert. I'm going to tell you because it doesn't actually matter.
Well, I mean, I watched all the
no,
like
it's in the DJ episode. So
yeah.
Spoiler alert, but this doesn't matter. This is why I'll tell you. DJ literally goes, if someone's going to offer me more money to work less, why wouldn't I take it? He goes, anybody. He goes, if you could go to the office less and earn more, you would do it 100%. Because that's it. It's that simple. He goes, I feel like my legacy's already been set. Here I am. But I actually think the PGA Tour, the live stuff, so not only did I feel like the series didn't really inspire anything exciting about golf for casual fans, I actually think it's going to be a little bit more fucking confusing now because people are going to be sitting there being like, what's live? What's PGA Tour? And then if you like go to mainstream golf media, it's like live bad.
Right.
And it's like, well, I just watched these guys. Like I actually saw the personalities. Like I understand the decision, but live bad. Why? Why? I don't get
Every single time Brandel Chambly came on the fucking screen, I was like, fuck this guy. I can't stand Brandel Chambly.
Yeah. And he sucks. So, I don't know. It's not going to do for golf what the F1 series did for golf. But I did really enjoy seeing Spieth and Thomas off the course.
That was pretty cool.
Koepka off the course.
I actually like Ian Poulter now. Like watching his episode, I'm like, because before I was indifferent, right? I mean, I was probably leaning towards like I don't like him just because of the Ryder Cup history, and he was always
trash.
He was always a fucker in the Ryder Cup. Like he was always that guy that kind of played the spoiler. But watching his episode, I'm like, I kind of like Ian Poulter now. Like I don't know, because like you said, you get to see who they really are. You get to see their personality. Like, you watched him struggle with the his decision to go to live. And he's like, I'm not going to be able to play on the Ryder Cup team. And my only dream was to be a Ryder Cup captain someday. And I might never get that now. And like, you got to see him, struggle with that, but also look that he has 4 kids and is like, I would also like to set my family up financially for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and
So
I
it's
don't
like,
know which one of them it was. One of them said he goes my grandkids are going to be good to go.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but I think like again, regardless, because I don't like this because none of this really does matter. Um, it's gonna be like golf is confusing enough, right? And it doesn't make a lot of sense in all reality. Like you really have to like golf to understand golf.
yeah. If you for right, like I know what you're saying. Like right, just at the if you boil it down to the simplest thing, right? It's you you hit a ball around a course and whoever has the lowest score wins. It's counterintuitive to all of the sports. All of the sports, whoever has the most points wins. And in golf is the opposite.
Well, I was kind of even going a different route of so today was the Daytona 500, right?
Right.
That would be considered a major if NASCAR had majors.
Right.
Obviously, everyone races in that. But come next week, everyone's going to be racing in that. And the week after, everyone's going to be racing in that. But if you are a fan, say like you really like Max Homa, um, and you really like him and what he stands for, well, don't worry about next week. He won't be playing. Don't worry about the week after. He won't be playing. Oh, I'm sorry. There's an opposite field event. So he won't be playing next week, so you don't have to watch golf next week. Then he'll play the Arnold Palmer. May miss the cut. You may never see him by the weekends. Players, cool. Valspar, won't see him. Punta Cana, won't see him. Texas Open, I assume you won't see him. Like you won't see him for 3 weeks.
Right.
So it's like it's going to be a lot harder to get behind certain guys when you never know if they're playing
Right.
or
Yeah.
not.
Like you said, you might have a guy that doesn't play for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Or like Rory probably is only going to play whatever his minimum is, 18 times a year, I think. There's 14 events and 4 majors.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, they might have. Did they bump that up?
No, because I
Because
thought it was 11.
there's what? Yeah, the four. Is there 14? No, there's 15 elevated events, right?
Yeah, so I thought there was 11 elevated events, 4 rotating elevated events. By the way, if someone's a casual golf fan, the way me and you are talking right now doesn't fucking resonate.
Right.
What the fuck is
Yeah.
an elevated event? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So I think there's going to be 11 elevated events, 4 rotating elevated events. So that's 15 plus the 4 majors. Is that what, 19? I've already lost my math.
11-4.
11, 4, 4.
That's 19.
19.
Yeah.
And then 3 for the tour
3
championship.
for the tour championship.
So that's 22.
Yeah.
And you can skip I think you can skip one
You can
of
skip
the 4.
one elevated event.
I think it's one of the 4 and one of the 11. So I think you can play 20.
Okay.
So there's 40 something events and like Rory might play in 20.
Yeah.
It's like for casual fans, how are they supposed to tune in every week? They never know if the guy's playing.
Right.
And then it's not like NASCAR or F1 where if he sucks, he either doesn't make the weekend or he's not really in contention, so they don't show him.
Right.
Whereas if you like Lewis Hamilton, he's probably going to be racing the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's not going to, I don't think it's going to be as it is. And then never mind, if someone really wants to get into golf, people are sitting here fucking debating about the 4th and the 10th hole at Riviera, a golf course they may never go to, a golf course that they may never play, they may never walk the grounds of, and frankly, a course where their opinion doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
This is what we get in golf.
Yeah.
This is why people don't fucking like it. And when they say it's too inclusive or whatever, it's like, no, we're not racist anymore. It's like, stop. First of all, the fact that you have to say that's a problem.
Yeah.
And then it's not that it's too inclusive by fucking race or gender. You guys are insufferable fucking dickheads. That's the fucking problem.
Yeah. It's old white fucking cocksuckers like Brandel Chambly.
Yeah, it's the architecture stuff. It's fucking stupid, man.
Yeah.
It is fucking stupid, and they can't get out of their own way. Because even like I think the big thing this week was Hovland was burying. I think I don't know on the 15th hole he was burying it up 17
He
or
was hitting
something.
it over the 17th. Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I don't know if that's how the architect. Whatever. Ask a casual fan what they think about the fucking architecture of the golf course. They don't fucking care. Like,
if anything, for a casual fan, that's more exciting because you got a guy on the 15th tee purposely hitting it into the 17th fairway because it's an easier way to hit the green. Like to a casual fan, like that's exciting.
Actually, yeah.
Like that's what's going to draw in the casual people. Same thing with he can't. Well, who knows? Maybe someday he'll do it, but he'll be there now. But what I was going to say was the same thing with Bryson back in the day on the 13th at Augusta, when he was like, oh, I'll just hit it into the fairway on 15 and then play it from there. But he did it in practice round. He never did it, in tournament. And it's like, well, if you're going to talk a big game, fucking do it. And like, that's the shit that like, and I know Augusta's a different beast because the golf course and the fucking members of the AGNC, whatever might, they can basically do whatever the fuck they want and let's not invite him back. But like, that's what's going to get the eyeballs. Like Bryson DeChambeau stepping up to the 13th tee and hitting his drive 400 yards into the 15th fairway and then having to hit it back over the fucking river or the burn onto the green. Like, that's what people want to see. Like people want to see Victor Hovland hit it 4 holes over because it's easier. It's a straighter line.
How about when he tried to drive the par 5 at Bay Hill?
Yeah.
The 6th hole. He hit it over all that water.
He hit it over the water. Yeah. Like that's the exciting shit. But you have these commentators and these cocksuckers are like, oh, it's bad for the game. Oh, that's not how it was intended to be played. Oh, I can't believe he would disrespect. He did that at or someone did it at St. Andrews. Was it they
played up a different fairway?
Yeah, I forget. I don't know who was doing it, but then someone started bailing out to the left. I think it was the road hole. Instead of trying to hit it over the hotel, they just hit it into the rough on the left or like into the other fairway, and then they just played it from there. Because I remember when they were at St. Andrews last year, that all the old white fuckers had their panties in a bunch because someone wasn't playing the hole the right way. So fuck off. If you don't want to play the hole that way, put up a net in between the fairways. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's not how it was intended to be played. Okay, what the fuck is that even supposed to mean?
Yeah, like anything fun gets stifled.
Yeah.
Because I even saw someone's comment of the full swing. They were like, oh, it would have been great to see like way more TrackMan data, shit like that. I'm like, no, it wouldn't have been.
Not for the casual fan.
No, it wouldn't have been.
They don't give a shit about side spin and ball speed and
bro, they explained what a cut was 6 fucking times.
Yeah.
You think they're gonna get up there and talk about the difference between fucking swing direction and club path?
Yeah, I did think it was funny that they kept saying, if you miss the cut, you don't get paid. It's like, yeah, I get it.
That's the thing, though. I thought it wasn't about money. I thought it was about legacy.
Yeah. So the one more thing before we can, maybe move on or maybe not. I don't know. I could talk about golf forever. But the other thing I was going to say was I kind of liked Joel Damon before this, but like, I actually really, I think I'm a Joel Damon fan now.
So I will say the biggest or the best takeaway from this series is you will like the players better. So I actually think they should continue the series just so that we can see the players either be normal human beings. Like Justin Thomas doesn't know how to pay at CVS. Like,
that was amazing.
He doesn't know how to use a fuck. He's swiping a card with the chip. It doesn't work like that. You have to fail 3 times with the chip and then you can swipe, but someone usually has to allow that. So we ended up paying cash. Like, because he's
Yeah.
fucking sick before the PGA Championship. Or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the PGA
It was the
Championship.
PGA, I think. Yeah.
Like,
The one that he won.
yeah, and then it's like Joel Damon, by far one of the best players in the world. Because I think he's 93 right now in the world.
Yeah.
He's a top 100 player and goes, yeah, I'm just not good enough to win a major.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just not good enough.
Like watching Joel Damon's episode, I was like, he would fit in with us, like in our group, just like talking shit about himself, being like, well, I fucking suck. Like,
Yeah, and then Max Homa is sitting there being like, a few more of these and be telling you how good you are.
yeah.
By the end of the night.
It's just it was really cool. Like I didn't know anything about him, like his story, like his personal story obviously is pretty cool. I don't want to give anything away if anyone's going to watch it, but he's obviously he's been through some shit in his life. And it's really cool to see where he is now. And the one thing that stood out to me, which I think, I don't know if a casual fan is going to pick up on this or what, but I also haven't finished the series, but looking at it, I think Sahith Tagala is probably the only guy left in the series that this could apply to. But everybody that I've seen so far through the first 4 episodes, like Jordan and JT fly private on their they're always shown together on the private plane going whatever. Koepka, when he leaves the course, has a private car. It's like a Chevy Tahoe with his fucking name on the back of it that he gets in and drives. And Ian Poulter hops on a private jet and flies over to his house in England, and like all these crazy things. And then when Joel Damon leaves the golf course, he gets in a fucking extended van with his wife that like drops him off at his hotel. And it's like, that's the shit that I actually like. Like, I think it's cool to see that there's levels to this shit, right? Like, there's, as good as Joel Damon is, like, he's not Jordan Spieth or Justin Thomas or Brooks Koepka or even Ian Poulter. Like, he doesn't have, he has plenty of money, right? Like, he makes a fuck ton of money, but he doesn't make Spieth money. You know, like, he doesn't make Koepka money. Well, at that time, Koepka
I'm
money.
trying to remember I'm trying to remember what his house looked like. Like, Koepka's house was unbelievable.
Wild. Poulter's house was on. Ian Poulter's closet was bigger than my bedroom.
That was fucking stupid.
That was wild. It was fucking huge. Ian Poulter's closet is probably what looked like it was probably about the size of my living room. Like, it was just, it's insane. But then again, you go to Joel Damon and it's,
I don't remember what his house looked like.
I don't think they showed it. Yeah, no, they did, because he had a black lab. I think it was fine. It was nice, but it wasn't
a nice
like,
house.
Yeah. But I don't think it was like, blowing people away. His caddy had a very average house. Although I don't know if that was his mom's house, the caddy's mom's house.
So Gino will, like, his big thing is he goes on Twitter, like, and he shows like where his staying arrangements are. Because it's usually like shitty Airbnbs and shitty hotels, and it's like all fucked up and everything.
Yeah. Gino's scenes where he was pulling all of the old like newspaper clippings from when they were kids.
I want to say that was his mother's house.
So I would imagine it was probably his mother's house too. Yeah. Which also, like, I had no idea that they were both, like, I didn't know their story at all. Like, they're both from northern Idaho, eastern Washington, like, literally in the fucking sticks in the middle of nowhere. They've been friends forever. Like, it's pretty cool. Like, it's cool to see these. And like I said, now I really like Joel Damon. Like, I'll root for him. Like, if I see him in a tournament, I'll be like, yeah, I hope he does well. Like, I hope he pulls this off. Whereas before, you're like, he's just kind of indifferent. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Joel Damon's on TV. Like,
Joel Damon played a scramble with the foreplay guys. You should watch that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
At Mesa. Check that out.
Joel Damon also has like 400 fucking course records.
Oh, wow.
at like all these different places.
Huh. Yeah, see, I didn't know that about him. I don't know anything about him. Well, that's not true. The only thing I know about him is he's the fucking goofy hat guy. He wears the sun hat.
Yep.
So the safari hat, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Because it's not a bucket hat. It's bigger than a bucket hat. He's the safari hat guy. And
Yeah.
I obviously watched the US Open last year and he did well in the US Open, but so because I think the events he's actually won weren't those in like the goofy season, like the wraparound.
He's only won once, and it was an
Okay.
opposite field event. I don't know if it was Puerto Rico, Punta Cana, the fucking Barbasol.
Yeah.
He won an opposite field event.
Yeah, one of those.
How about US Open qualifying? You know, and you know
Yeah.
what's that was a missed opportunity because they could really go into like that could have been a very, very compelling story. And he's sitting there drinking White Claws in between rounds.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty fucking awesome. And he goes, he was like, I don't know if I probably should have been drinking White Claws, but I mean, I only had a couple and I played better in the second round. So whatever. Swing oil, coach.
And like I don't think they understand that's the thing is like they put that in there and no one knows how unbelievable that is. Like what he did
Yeah.
just to get through.
Like, I feel like they could have spent an entire episode just on US Open qualifying.
Well, so this is why, like, I don't know if he's doing it right now or how good it is. Ryan French, Monday Q, The Grind is his podcast, and I think he started doing video this year. If he can ever, if Fire Pit can ever get like the correct media to do it, he will be telling unfucking believable stories. Like, do you know how Tom Kim like kind of made his way around? No, like people don't know this.
He slept on people's couches, didn't he?
So he fucking kicked ass in Korea or Japan or somewhere in Asia. Not the Asian tour, but like kicked fucking ass. And he was doing Monday qualifiers here. Now, again, casual fans, they have no idea what a Monday qualifier is. All they know is like how big these fucking people's houses are. They have no fucking idea.
Right.
So Ryan French has a video from like 2019 of Tom Kim on a bridge at the golf course, like on a bridge over water, guarding against a woman who's just walking her two dogs through the course, which is normal because it's a muni.
Right.
So she's got the two dogs. He's guarding so that the dogs don't touch the ball because he's trying to wait for a ruling. And she's just like walking by, like, it's like, oh yeah, no, I know how important this is for you, with her two dogs just like walking over the bridge. And it's like, what is going on here? Like, these guys are playing for their fucking livelihood.
Yeah.
And Maud is taking her two dogs for a walk
Yeah.
with like the risk that one of them fucking eats the golf ball. Now, the reason that's an issue, because if the dog grabs the ball, you can replace it, but he's waiting for a ruling, so he doesn't know, like, that's why. But like,
right.
But like, so he showed like Ryan French had that video, Monday Q. He had that video for like years. And he goes, by the way, this is Tom Kim. Like, now that you actually know who this player is, because when he was doing that Monday qualifier, he was a nobody.
Right. Right.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you want good golf stories? Like, it's not following PGA Tour. It's not, or I'm sorry, it's not following the best PGA Tour players. It's not.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think Joel Damon probably had the best episode so far.
Homa would have a good one.
Homa would have a great one, yeah.
Because his caddy's his best friend, and his caddy is fucking good too.
Yeah.
His caddy's nasty. Him and his partner went to like the US AM 4-ball.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's crazy to see how good some of these caddies actually are too.
Well, some of them are just failed players.
Right.
So
like Gino is actually a really good golfer. And it's not that I would think that like a professional caddy would be shitty at golf. Like, obviously you have to be good at golf, but like when they were talking about Gino and his career, like I didn't realize like he was actually a really good golfer.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to a few things. Do you have the drive? Do you have the desire? Do you have the money?
Right.
And if you don't have those things, it's really, really difficult to play.
Yeah. So it's cool. I'm interested to see how the last few episodes go. Um, how was Sahith Sagala's episode? Because I'm looking at like who's in each episode, and Sahith Sagala has a solo episode.
No, he doesn't. I think it's with Mito.
Oh, okay. Mito Pereira.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think
They didn't, yeah, they didn't list him on the episode. They only listed Tagala.
they didn't list him. It's mostly about him
Oh, that's hilarious.
because
Yeah, it says
he fucking bombed at the PGA.
right. Yeah, he blew it and JT won. He fucking knocked his drive into the water.
Yeah, they cover Thagala. I'm sorry, Mito way more than Sahith.
Okay.
If it's the same episode.
Yeah, I mean it probably is because episode 5 is Fitzpatrick and DJ, and then it's Finau and Morikawa in 6, and then 7 just has the gala, and then episode 8 says Rory and Cam Young.
You know why it says that?
What?
Mito's a live guy now.
Oh shit. That makes sense.
They've got to be so pissed because in that episode, it's like Mito, Joaquin Neiman, and Carlos Ortiz, and they're all gone.
Yeah.
But like the episode's already produced.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. So yeah, I mean, I've seen some people talk about like they would have rather it been chronological.
I agree.
Yeah. But then I wonder like can you tell someone's story as good? Like, could you tell Joel Damon's story as good as you did if it was a chronological show?
Who was he with? No, he had it by itself.
He was by himself.
Yeah, so the way it would go is Scotty Scheffler. Hold on, trying to think. So Koepka and Scheffler probably would have been first because that was Waste Management Masters.
Well, so
Or I guess
when they
it would have
want it
been
to be they want the show to be chronological. So like the episode isn't just Scotty Scheffler. Like the episode is the Waste Management, and then it goes to the Arnold Palmer, and then it goes to the players, and then it, you know what I mean? Like that what I saw someone, I think it was it might have been Lou Stagner who said it. Like he wished it was chronological as the season went, not like we'll show you basically JT's whole season because then it bounces back and forth.
So my only thing though, they didn't show each player's whole season. They kind of focused on one event. So if you think about it, you could have done chronological because most of it started with the Waste Management. So you could have done Scotty Scheffler and Sahith together. Then, or I guess you would have started with Sahith and then done Scotty Scheffler because he would have taken you. No, Sahith and Koepka. I'm trying. I don't have them all in front of me. Like I have to write this shit down. So Sahith and Koepka would be the first episode. Scotty would lead off with Waste Management, which he won, leading into the Masters. He would probably be paired with I don't know, doesn't matter. Then Mito, or he could have been paired with Spieth because then it went to the Heritage, I think.
Yeah, it did.
So then Mito and JT would have been together. Then US Open, Joel Damon. Who won Matt Fitzpatrick. So Damon and Fitzpatrick for the US Open. Open Championship. Roars for the Open Championship. Finau for the end of the year events. Yeah, so it doesn't work that neatly because then you got to go back to Roars for the Tour Championship.
Yeah.
But the last episode could have been a culmination.
Yeah. Well, I think you would have had to have broken it up and not told like an individual story. Like you wouldn't have told like a person wouldn't have been a spotlight. Like it would have been a little bit of everybody in each episode if you go chronological.
Maybe some people wanted that. Maybe because they watched the F1 thing and it maybe outlined the season a little bit better.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes more sense. I don't know.
Yeah. I
Because
think
that doesn't sound that stupid to me. But I
no,
think what they did was featuring the players. It allows you to get behind the players, but not the game.
exactly. And that's I would agree with that. I think featuring the players shows you the behind the scenes stuff, has you like them a little bit more, but you didn't really learn anything about golf and how the PGA works.
Which, you know what? You probably don't want to
That's a fair point. Yeah.
be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
No, if
Yeah.
I was the PGA Tour, I wouldn't want them going into that.
Yeah.
They would look so bad. No, they would. No, they really would. They would look awful.
Yeah.
Because if the casual fan's going to look at it and be like, oh, so one of these players that isn't at the top, they have to pay all of their own expenses. They pay their own caddy and they can show up to a tournament and leave with nothing. Like, how does that make any sense? Like,
Yeah.
I thought they were tour players. Like they show up to work and you don't pay them. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
PGA Tour definitely doesn't want that.
Right. So well, I think we're about that time. If you want to start wrapping this up.
I'd love to.
All right.
I have notes that I have to pull up. So I had CPR on Saturday, CPR training, which
Oh yeah.
whatever. CPR is fucking stupid. Now I've done it. I've been doing CPR training since I think 2010. And I think the one I did in 2010 was a 1-year renewal, and everything else since then has been a 2-year renewal. So I have done CPR training, I want to say 7 or 9 times, one or the other. It hasn't changed anything since 2015. Nothing has changed since 2015.
Nope.
Now, this is a pet peeve of mine when they have these courses, they mix research with new people. Now, is it the worst thing in the world? No, but I also feel like with research, you could do it a lot quicker. It could be a lot briefer, and research might actually get a lot more out of it. So, that being said, we go and we have some guy. Not bad. He's trying to get the video to play, doesn't get the video to play. So he just teaches the course, which is unbelievable because usually it's some fucking stupid ass video that I've seen
a million times.
15, 17, 19, 21, 23. I've seen it 6 times.
Yeah, it's when the guy falls in the grass and the woman runs over.
I think it's like the airport usually, but whatever. Yeah. It's like, it doesn't matter. So that same video, because I've been doing the American Heart Association since 2011. So 2011 was one thing. 2013, they changed it a little bit. And then
was 13, they went to 15 and 2?
Oh, they went to no breaths or something.
Yeah, they did no breaths for a while. And then they went back to 30 and 2
for 2 years, and it's 30 and 2.
And now, because of COVID, they're like, yeah, you can just do compressions.
Well, they also, I remember from like back in the day, like even the first couple, they were like, if you don't have a mask or if you're not comfortable doing mouth to mouth, don't do it. Like if you don't have a valve.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. So if you're just casually around and someone goes down, you're not supposed to actually give breaths.
Yeah.
Until and then if an AED shows up and it's got the stuff in it, then you give breaths. But again, it's like if you and I are like going on a fucking flight and someone goes down, until the AED gets there, we're not supposed to give breaths, like direct mouth to mouth contact.
Right.
So now there's some new people. So I don't so it's I'm because I'm gonna make fun of people in the class. This is what I'm about to do. And I'm not gonna make fun of them because they didn't know what they were doing. I'm gonna make fun of them because they think they're smarter than the program. Like they think they know something that the American Heart Association hasn't thought of ever. The instructor's been teaching CPR since 1990. But yeah, you're right. The person in the class, attending the class, they're going to figure something out. So, some of the questions that arose. Oh, what if the AED backfires? Can you die from that? The AED is not going to backfire. It's fucking not. The AED, the technology of the AED, if you've never done CPR, the AED does not deliver charges unless it reads that it should.
Correct.
So
even if it should, and you, as a dumbass, somehow couldn't follow fucking picture directions, place the pads on incorrectly.
It tells you what to do. It talks to you.
Yeah. If you put the pads on incorrectly,
it won't go.
It won't do anything. It won't shock. Everything needs to be perfect for it to shock.
Yes. So if the person has a heart rate, it will not shock.
Correct.
If they have no heart rate, it will not shock because that person's dead.
Correct.
If the pads are in the wrong place, it will not shock. Now, the only thing that could happen is if you go, yes, deliver shock, and then you reach over the person and touch the person.
Yeah.
Then you could shock yourself and you will die in that case. But that's not the machine backfired. That's an operator error.
Right. That's Darwin.
The best part too is they were like, so what happens like if you are touching the patient or the victim?
You get 10,000 joules.
He goes, you're dead. Yeah. That's what the guy literally goes. He goes, you die.
Yeah.
He goes, because you just took your working heart and fucking fried it.
Right.
So
now you have two people on the floor in AFib and no one to save them.
Yes. What if the AED backfires? Great. Yeah. The next question that I thought was memorable. Guy starts it off like, hey, so like, what if like, he's like, you know what? I don't really know what I'm trying to say. Okay. If you don't know what you're trying to say, then don't ask the fucking question. What the fuck? How the fuck do you start a question with, I don't know what I'm trying to say? How about this? I'm telling you to shut the fuck up because whatever you're going to ask isn't going to make any fucking sense. How the fuck do you sit there in an instructional class and go, I don't really know what I'm trying to say? How about you say fucking nothing then? Yeah. Maybe start there. Nope, can't help himself. And eventually was like, with it, he was like, what if you like go into an anxiety situation and like panic? And the guy's like, listen, man, all I can do is teach you the best that you can, and you get enough reps in so that when the time comes, you can know what to do and when to do it. He goes, after that, freak out all you want. He goes, in my 30 years of teaching CPR, he goes, I've only had 2 students who had to use it. Or he's 2 students that have told me they had to use it.
Right.
Because we're not healthcare providers. So this isn't healthcare
right.
CPR. And he goes, and one of them had to go to the hospital herself because she was fucking so fucked up from administering CPR. Like she freaked out, but she saved the person, then freaked out so bad that she had to go to the hospital herself. Yeah. He goes, that's what I'm doing. He goes, I'm training you what to do.
Right.
He goes, that's it. You do what I tell. He goes, you do the things that you're trained to do. No problems. He goes, once that person's alive, freak out all you want. He goes, I don't care. But yeah, it's like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Then don't ask.
Yeah.
Don't ask. If you don't know what you're trying to say, then shut the fuck up. That's where you start. Because your question's going to fucking suck. And it did suck. Oh, what do you do if you like have an anxiety? I don't know. What do you want the instructor to tell you?
Yeah.
Hey, have you ever tried just not having an anxiety attack? Like, we all know, like, if you see someone go down and it's time to give CPR and instead you have a panic attack, well, apparently you're not helping that person.
Yeah.
Very simple, very straightforward. So why the fuck did you ask?
Those absolutely retarded what if questions are just fucking stupid. Oh, what if you get hit by lightning as you're trying to administer this AED?
Well, you might die.
Yeah.
Well, because that's the other thing. I think the guy, I mean, very direct. I can appreciate that. He said something like, they were like, well, what if you like, what happens when this? He goes, I don't really care. This person's dead. He goes, anything you do is just going to improve their situation. They're dead. He goes, they're already dead.
Right.
Because if you do nothing, they're gone.
Right.
He goes, so the best you can do is what you can to try to save a life here.
Right. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good way to look at it.
They're already, yeah. Well, I mean, he's not wrong.
No, he's not. He's not wrong.
Last question. So part of the course is choking or obstructed airways.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's choking on something, what can you do? And someone asks, I guess there's like a little suction thing. So you can put it over the person's mouth and pull up, and it's supposed to suction the obstruction out. And he goes, okay, I've heard of those. He goes, I am not trained in one. He goes, I do not recommend using them. He goes, the training's not out there. There's not enough information. There's not enough research. It hasn't been used widely enough. We don't know pros, cons, anything. He goes, so I don't recommend you use something like that because I'm your instructor and I'm not trained in that modality. Yeah, a question. So how does that thing work?
Oh
Bitch,
my God.
he just told you that he
Yeah.
doesn't know. He's not trained in that thing. And you follow up with, how does it work? He doesn't know. He
So
just
you
told
didn't
you
listen
that.
to anything that he said.
Oh, but how does that thing work?
That shit drives me nuts because that's like people that you can't have a conversation with because they're not actually interested in having a conversation with you. They just want to say whatever they have to say. Right? Like that dumb bitch was like, yeah, you know those choking things? Yeah, but I don't know enough. Yeah, well, how do they work? Like, why didn't you just lead and say, do you know how those choking things work? Like, why do that? You clearly didn't listen to anything that he said because you had a question that you wanted to ask, and all you cared about was your question being voiced into the fucking ether. And you made yourself look like fucking retarded. That shit drives me nuts. When it's like, because I don't know, maybe it's just because
it was probably the same person that asked about the fucking AED backfiring.
yeah, probably. But it's one of those things, and I don't know, maybe if it's because like we've been doing this show for 4 fucking years plus, and like talking and conversation is a lot of what I do, both again on this show twice a week for four plus years, but also like my jobs, like my last job, my current job, like it's all about communication and talking to people. And when I run across people that are like that, it makes my blood boil because it's like you don't actually care about having a conversation. You only care about yourself and your thought getting voiced in the open.
Yeah, I know. I know you said that you used to be a paramedic, but like, if you were on a fire truck and
Yeah.
there was like a fire, like, how would you get someone out of that building?
Yeah.
It,
That
it,
that's got to be one of my biggest pet peeves. Potentially the biggest
I
is
don't
shit
know.
like that.
And of course, we could have been out of there in probably 2 hours flat, but people they just can't fucking help themselves. They really just fucking can't.
Yeah.
So 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Amazing.
Which is better than 3.5. Or no, it's supposed to be 3 full. So we got I'm sorry. No, it was I don't even know now. These
Is
people
it
just
just
couldn't.
CPR or do they do first aid too?
We did not do first aid. First
Because
aid.
I was gonna say I think when I used to do the CPR first aid, I think it was 4 hours.
Yeah, so the first aid people had to do a class earlier in the day
Okay.
and then join up for CPR AD.
Yeah. I remember the one time I had to go and get we might have talked about it on the show. I had to go get trained in wilderness first aid. because I was running the outdoor education program and I was taking kids into the woods and like doing camping trips and stuff like that. And like that was wild. Like learning wilderness first aid is very different, but it's interesting. You basically like are trained to do all the first aid shit, but like literally with whatever you have in front of you. Like there were a few like because we did like some scenario stuff, and it was like, all right, so we were in a group of like whatever 4 or 5 people, and it's like, all right, Bobby just fell down and broke his ankle. We have to get him. We were like in a park somewhere, and it was like we need to get him all the way on the other side of the park, which is like 150 yards away. Like, what are we gonna do? So we were like pulling shit out of our backpacks to be like, we could use this. We could wrap it in. It's wild. It's interesting to think of like, because it's really scenario based, right? Like if you're walking in the woods and you fucking bust your ankle, you know, the ambulance isn't driving up the mountain to save you.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah, it's interesting. But people suck. That is tried and true. They should add that to the death taxes saying. It's like death taxes, people sucking, and then add what a Matt Ryan sack on third down, or like whatever the thing you're trying to say is. It should be this the saying should be death taxes, people sucking, and then whatever you want to say.
So dumb.
Yeah. All right. So for my final thought, I played my first round of golf for the year on Thursday.
I've played 18 holes so far this year.
I've only played 9. I got out Thursday. It was probably like 6. I think it got up to 66 degrees on Thursday. It's what it said in my truck at one point.
Thursday I teed off maybe 10:20, and it was 60 at tee off. So I wore shorts on Thursday.
Yeah. I got out at like 2:30-ish. It was at the end of the day. I had nothing to do, and it was a beautiful day. So I was like, fuck it. It's 2:30. I've done everything I need to do. When I do shit like that, like the 2:30 is a little early. Sometimes like when I'll do that, I'll try and go out like at 3:30-ish. But I usually just take my work phone with me and answer whatever emails or text messages I get, whatever. But I love also tangent. I love when I do shit like that and I'm playing, during the summer with whatever. It's always a fucking old white guy. It's like, oh, can't take work on the course. I'm like,
yeah, man. Unfortunately, I got us. So
well, technically, I'm being paid right now, so I'm working. So fuck off. I golf because it makes me feel good and I enjoy it. So you can fuck right off. Oh, that's another fun one. Oh, you can't take work on the course. All right, buddy. So yeah, I got out last Thursday. Like I said, I think it got up to like 66. Finally got to use my new clubs that you can see kind of in the corner right here. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the bottom of my bag. Overall, not awful. I shot a 49, which was I think that's 13 over, which normally I would be extremely disappointed with, but I haven't played a round of golf since I looked it up in my 18 Birdies app since November 23rd. So from November 23rd to February 16th or 17th, whatever the fuck it was, I'll take a 49. I made a birdie. I chipped in from the fringe on the par 5. So that was pretty cool. And then, I think my driver was actually probably one of the best clubs. I think driving and putting was good.
Would you play Chihuahua?
No, I played at Heather Hill.
How are the greens? Fine.
I mean, fine for Heather Hill standards.
I was gonna say because I do this nice thing in the winter. It's called max 2 putts.
Well, yeah, I 2-putted every hole except for the hole that I holed out on. So because I ended with 15 putts.
Yeah, 0 putt.
Yeah.
You must have 1 putted somewhere else, but
Yeah.
whatever, regardless. Yeah, that's what I do is I putt once. If it goes in, cool. If it doesn't go in, I pick it up because I'm not putting these greens. It's a joke.
Yeah. I think around the green I actually did pretty well too. I have my stats here. Yeah. So I had a couple drives that I hit like shit, right? Because the when I played, I think I only hit driver like 4 on 4 holes. There's 2 par 3s, and then there's a couple other holes. Like it just doesn't make sense to hit driver. So actually I lost strokes off the tee and approach, but I gained strokes putting and around the green.
What's that relative to?
To me, to
Your
my
own
skill
performance?
level.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Wait,
yeah,
no, your handicap or your
it says my skill level relative to my skill level. So a 17 handicap.
Gotcha.
So I gained 2 strokes putting. I gained like almost a stroke around the green. And I lost 3.5 off the tee and 5 on the approach. So all in all, I lost 6 strokes. But I'll take the plus putting and around the green. Like I said, again, for the first round in February since November, I'm all right with it. So yeah, that's it. That's my final thought. I golfed. And then knowing now also I probably won't be able to play again until March because I looked at the weather and it's like I don't see any more 60s on there in the next 2 weeks. Like tomorrow is going to be 58, but I'm busy tomorrow. And that's the shitty thing about this time of year is that the weather needs to match up with my work schedule. Because like during the summer, if it's like June or July, I can go out and play at 4:00 in the afternoon when my day's done because it stays light out until 9:00. So I can play, I can play 9 at 4:30 and get it in. It's not a big deal. But this time of year, I need my work schedule and the weather to comply. And I am not getting out at 4:30 in February because it gets dark by 6:30.
4:30.
Yeah. So
6:30. Does it even stay like that late?
I think technically the sunset is like sometime around then, but it gets dark.
Late.
Yeah. So I think that's it. That's going to do it for us. So thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe. That's a fun word. Like, rate, review wherever you're listening. Well, I guess like and rate and review if you're on Apple and Spotify, because those are the only 2 you can actually leave reviews on. Tell everybody you know about the show. Thank you to mybookie.com. Use the promo code SarcasmPod when you sign up to double your first deposit up to $1,000. Also, thank you to grillyourassoff.com. Use the same promo code SarcasmPod at checkout for 15% off your entire order every single time you check out. It's a multi-use coupon over there. They're great. Love me some Grill Your Ass Off. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. The Twitter is sarcasm_speaks. The Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. Website, sarcasmspeaks.com. Then you go to the merch store, buy some merch, get some shit with our logo on it. And until next time.